Welcome to Pembroke, North Carolina. Doubleheader action today between UNC Pembroke and Georgia Southwestern as the first two games of this three-game PBC set here for you this afternoon on a beautiful afternoon in southeastern North Carolina. Glad to have you along with us. Trevor Williams with you for Braves baseball today. They're going through the starters right now for both sides. UNC Pembroke in at 14-12 in PBC play, while Georgia Southwestern struggling to a tune of 5-22 inside the conference. UNC Pembroke right now in the PBC. That sets them in fifth. They are the number 8 team in the region currently, looking to be in the top 7 of that region in order to get that at-large bid to the NCAA postseason. Of course, that could change depending on what happens in the SAC conference, as Wingate already a loss in that conference tournament. The Braves hoping that if they can get one of those teams that's a favorite in that conference to win, it would help them out in their regional rankings. UNCP, their 14-12 record in conference, along with a 33-12 record on the season. See the Braves taking the field now. Roberto Rivera for UNCP going to lead off and be in center field. Trevor Clemens bats second. He's catching for the Braves this afternoon. Ethan Bockham hitting third is in right field. Trey Jacobs bats fourth. He's at third base. Luke Jackson batting fifth in left field. Seth Hardings hits sixth. He plays second. Connor Granger batting seventh and is at first base. Elijah Helton is the eighth hitter for the Braves. He's your designated hitter this afternoon. And Jarrett Mobley, the shortstop for UNCP, will round out the order for Paul O'Neill and his Braves. On the other side for Georgia Southwestern, head coach Brian McLean sets his card like this. Second baseman Jason Beta will lead it off. Josh Logan's in center field. He bats second. Jared Jones hitting third at first base. Designated hitter Andy Moore is in the cleanup spot. Jonathan Martin plays in right field and hits fifth. Cole Clark batting sixth. He's in left field. Dakota Long hits seventh as the catcher. Tyler Skelton, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Bradley Huff, the third baseman, rounding out the order for the Hurricanes. Their starting pitcher in the bottom of the first inning will be Mitch Holloway. Holloway on the season of 5.92 ERA, a 2-9 record. He has 11 appearances, 10 of them are starts, 1 complete game, 62 1/3 innings for Holloway, and he has a total of 70 strikeouts to 24 walks. For UNC Pembroke on their side, starting pitcher this afternoon will be Anthony Burke, a 3.07 ERA this year for the senior right-hander, and Burke has been marvelous of late for the Braves. 7-2 record on the season. This is his 13th appearance, all of them starts. He has 5 complete games over 88 innings, and it is 77 strikeouts to 12 walks for Anthony Burke. Burke, of course, lately the success for the UNC Pembroke right-hander has been evident. Multiple PBC Pitcher of the Week honors over the last couple weeks of the season, and the senior from Fredericksburg, Virginia, lately has not had a bullpen behind him. The Braves, when he has been on the mound, have been content to stick with him as he's thrown complete games his last 3 outings. Those 3 outings, all wins for Burke as well, over Francis Marion and North Georgia on the road, and then Flagler at home. Burke, in fact, has gone 7 or more innings each of his last 6 starts, and he only has 1 start this year at less than 6 innings. So he will throw a bulk of the innings for the Braves here in Game 1 of this 3-game set, which starts with a doubleheader this afternoon in Pembroke. He's completing his warm-up tosses with the defense set behind him. Again, if you're just joining us, Georgia Southwestern with Beta, Logan, Jones, Moore, Martin, Clark, Long, Skelton, and Huff down their card 1 through 9 to face the right-hander Anthony Burke in the top half of the first. First to batter in for Georgia Southwestern is Jason Beta. The junior batting .290 this season. He has 14 extra base hits on the year, top 3 in this order. Pretty proficient hitters for Georgia Southwestern in terms of both average and extra base hits. This is Burke's first pitch of the day, up and outside. Burke again off 3 straight complete games. Braves have won the last 4 that Burke has started in. That dates back to a win at home against USC Aiken on March 29th. Fly ball towards left field. Jackson trying to get on his horse. This will gap and bounce off the wall. High off that fence, Jason Beta going to have extra bases to start it for Georgia Southwestern. We mentioned the extra base hits this year for Beta, and he gets right to it here in the top half of the first inning.
Up next for the Hurricanes, center fielder.
Beta's 10th double of the season. That leads all Hurricanes this year. So right away, he is in scoring position here in the top half of the first. Burke will face the second man in this order, Josh Logan, the center fielder. Burke checking behind. A breaking ball snaps in at the knees to Logan for strike one. Home plate umpire is Brett Dickerson, Eric Byram in the field. Powder blues for those PBC umpires on a nice warm afternoon in Pembroke. Burke up in the count 0-2 after a nice fastball. And the Braves 33-12 this year and a pristine 24-2 at home. A beautiful day we're talking about, 78 degrees, light winds blowing out towards the right field foul pole. Burke sets the low and outside from Josh Logan, a ball and 2 strikes. Braves outfield, you saw the left side of Luke Jackson and Roberto Rivera out of center trying to get to that leadoff double for Jason Beta. Then in right field, it's Ethan Backham. We'll give you the infield after this delivery from Burke. It's fouled off by Logan. Around the infield, Trey Jacobs at third base, Jarrett Mobley at short, Seth Hardings at second, and Connor Granger at first. Trevor Clemens, the battery mate for Anthony Burke. Working here in the top half of the first after a leadoff double for Jason Beta. Off the hands on the ground left side. Jacobs trying to get to the weak roller, throws it wide to Granger on the first base side. Around to score will be Jason Beta. There'll be 2 errors on this play, both against Trey Jacobs. One to move Beta to third and what would have had Logan aboard safely. And the second error moves Logan up to second and scores the run for Georgia Southwestern. So the Hurricanes a 1-0 lead.
Number 7, Jared Jones.
And again, they replace a runner at second base. Jared Jones, the first baseman, up next for Georgia Southwestern. For Anthony Burke, over his last 3 starts, only 2 earned runs allowed. He has given up 6, 4 unearned. Towards right field off the bat of Jared Jones. That's in for a base hit. It'll move runners to first and third. The single for Jones after a double and an error, and Georgia Southwestern off to a good start here this afternoon. Corner runners and nobody out top half of the first. This is exactly what you want to do facing a very good pitcher in Anthony Burke if you're Georgia Southwestern. Who again has struggled this year, 5-22 in the conference, 5-15 away from home. Georgia Southwestern, the lone team in the PBC that plays the double headers when they head away from home in conference action. Doubleheader day 1 and then game 3 on day 2. Save on the travel costs a bit for the Hurricanes out of Americus. But already a run home for him, and first and third with nobody out top half of the first inning. Anthony Burke able to get ahead of Andy Moore, the designated hitter, with a fastball at the knees. In the PBC, Georgia Southwestern, lowest batting average in the conference at .249. As it mattered to him here in this first inning, pair of hits, taking advantage of a couple errors as well. Burke turning to first, and stepping back over to the bag, standing up, is Jared Jones. Ready for Burke in his 0-1 pitch. That's over the outside edge. Change up that time to Andy Moore. No balls and 2 strikes. For Georgia Southwestern, Moore their third leading hitter. 17 runs driven in this year, 6 doubles. Already a 1-0 lead for his side. Burke strikes him out. A snap throw back to third. Braves thought they had the runner, but Logan safe, diving back in. A strikeout for Anthony Burke of Andy Moore. It's out number 1. The Braves nearly turned it into a beautiful double play.
The right fielder, number 20.
Instead, just one out and corner runners. Trevor Clemens loves that move from behind the plate. The freshman catcher almost getting Josh Logan napping over at third base. Jonathan Martin, the right fielder, next for Georgia Southwestern. A check swing, but it is a called strike. 0-1 to Martin, and this back half of the order is where it gets a little dicey for Georgia Southwestern. Nobody batting above 240 in these back 5 hitters after the first 4 of the top of this order. Strike 2 now to Martin. Burke filling up the zone in this first inning. 10 of his 12 pitches have been strikes here at the start. Got a strikeout of the last batter to Andy Moore. We're like another here with corner runners. And the 0-2 pitch on the ground, right side, diving to it, knocking it down Hardings. He'll throw to first for out number 2. Run from third, Josh Logan going to score. RBI ground out and a big diving knockdown by Hardings to get it on to first base. Jared Jones moves to second on the play as well.
Number 8, Cole
now
Clark.
2 gone for the Hurricanes and a 2-0 lead. Runner at second base, and Cole Clark, the left fielder, next for Georgia Southwestern. The early hits, the double for Jason Beta and the single for Jared Jones, setting it up for GSW. Burke's gotten his last 2. He starts breaking ball that just misses to Cole Clark. Just the second batter that Burke has started behind in this opening inning. Dating back to leadoff man Jason Beta, who had the double. 2 errors in the next at-bat with Josh Logan. Brought home Georgia Southwestern's first run. Swing and a miss to take it to a ball and a strike. Right now, 1 of the 2 runs unearned. Jones at second base, 2 outs and a 1-1 count. Burke's ready in his pitch. Just outside to Cole Clark. See the runner at second base there, Jared Jones. Braves in their home half of the first will have Roberto Rivera, Trevor Clemens, and Ethan Bauckham to lead it off. Burke comes ready, trying for his second strikeout of the inning. Excuse me, it was 2-1 on the board. 2-2 to Cole Clark on the swing and a miss. Jones has the lead off of second base. 2 hits here in the inning for Georgia Southwestern. Burke gets the pop-up on the infield. Right side first baseman Granger calling for it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. 3 straight retired by Burke after the leadoff double, error, and single. Georgia Southwestern, they jump on the board at first for a 2-0 lead here on the UNCP Sports Network.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
To the bottom half of the first inning in Pembroke, Georgia Southwestern 2 runs in the top half of the first on a couple of hits and an error against Trey Jacobs. That is being corrected here to just a single error for Jacobs, the result of the poor throw forced by the tough fielding start to the play for Jacobs. So a single error on that play as we're into the bottom of the first. The Braves lineup against Mitch Holloway, the right-hander for Georgia Southwestern. You see warming up right now, looks like this. Roberto Rivera leads it off. He's out of center field for the Braves. Trevor Clemens batting second is the catcher. Ethan Pockham hitting third. He's your right fielder today. Trey Jacobs, who had that error in the top half, is in the cleanup spot out of third base. Luke Jackson in left field batting fifth, and Seth Hardings hits sixth out of second base. Connor Granger batting seventh from first. Elijah Helton, the DH, hitting eighth, and Jarrett Mobley at shortstop rounding out the order. Braves will try to get some runs right back, and UNC Pembroke, their last few games, able to get a string of wins together. The Braves have now won a total of 5 consecutive. In those 5 consecutive, they've had to come from behind in a few of them. Game against Coker jumps off the page. Come from behind in the series against Flagler as well. The sweep last weekend in PBC play. Their non-conference game at Catawba earlier this week canceled due to rain. So Roberto Rivera leads off the bottom of the first for the Braves. That does mean this year that the Braves will finish with a perfect non-conference record in their regular season after that cancellation earlier this week, the game not to be made up. And a strike to Rivera to start his afternoon. Mitch Holloway, the ERA is up near 6, and a 2-9 record doesn't look good, but he does a good job of limiting his walks. Just 24 this year with 70 strikeouts. Was able to start ahead on the afternoon, then missed on the second to Rivera, 1-1. Opponents are hitting .297 against him, and he's facing one of the better offenses in the Peach Belt Conference. The Braves come in second behind Georgia College. Healthy swing for Rivera, but it's 1-2 with Holloway out ahead. Georgia College bats an unbelievable .363. The Braves at .340 this year. Columbus State, Flagler, the other teams hitting above .300 on the season. Holloway's 1-2 pitch. That bounces on by the catcher, Dakota Long. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bradley Huff's at third. Tyler Skelton at short. Jason Beta at second. Jared Jones at first. In the outfield from left to right, it's Cole Clark, Josh Logan, and Jonathan Martin. 2-2 pitch on its way. Rivera check swing, chop right side, diving stop by the first baseman. Jones turns to first, will not be in time to beat Rivera. Legs out, an infield single for the Braves. Heck of an effort at first by Jared Jones. Could not get it back to his pitcher covered in time. And we already see Brian McLean with an argument to this call as he thought his pitcher covered in time. That was Mitch Holloway over to the bag. An infield single for now for Roberto Rivera. A quick discussion between McLean and Eric Byram, the field umpire. Rivera's aboard to start the Braves afternoon. Trevor Clemens, the catcher, up next for UNCP. A 2-run, 2-hit top half for Georgia Southwestern if you're just joining us on this beautiful 80-degree day in Pembroke. The redshirt freshman out of Randleman, North Carolina. To bat next for UNCP with the speedy Rivera aboard at first base. 22 stolen bases already this year for Roberto Rivera. Rivera swiped 22 on 26 attempts. The Braves 99 of 129 this year as a team. Holloway keeping an eye on Rivera. Clemens taking to even the count at a ball and a strike. Trevor Clemens, the Braves walk leader, 36 on the year. Slugs .453, on base percentage at .485. That's a couple ticks below Luke Jackson, who's batting in the 5 spot today, and a couple ticks above Roberto Rivera, who just led off with the single. Clemens showing bunt, pulling back. It's too low to make it 2-1. Rivera, that infield single here in the bottom half of the first inning. Beat it out on the right side. Nice diving play by Jared Jones. Sun peeking through some partly cloudy skies this afternoon. They'll check over at first. Rivera is back over to the bag safely. You do want to be careful with him at 22 stolen bases, the Braves leader. Some other really good base stealers on this team. Trevor Clemens is 15-17, Luke Jackson 15-21, and Seth Harding's 14-16. Hit and run on, it's going to go to short. No play for Rivera at second. The throw to first in time for out number 1. So Clemens will bounce out. The hit and run keeps the Braves out of the double play. 1 out and a runner into scoring position at second in Roberto Rivera.
The right fielder, 17, Ethan Buckham.
We'll bring up Ethan Buckham next for UNCP. Buckham batting .305 this season. Sophomore's worked out of a slump that he suffered in the middle part of the schedule. Second on the team in homers with 8. Everybody now chasing Luke Jackson, who has 11 and 60 runs driven in this year. Buckham will start ahead in his at-bat. 47 ribbies for Buckham, 59 for Trey Jacobs, and then 60 for Luke Jackson. The 3 leaders in this Braves order this afternoon. Buckham trying to do something with a man in scoring position for the first time today. And low and inside for ball 2. That's something Georgia Southwestern did not take advantage of in the top half of the first. They had their corner runners with nobody out, and then Anthony Burke was able to get the next 3, and that held it to 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position for the Hurricanes in the top half. Swing and a miss by Buckham. Wanted to park it over the left field fence. That would have gone a long ways for Georgia Southwestern, and they've been able to put a couple more numbers up on Anthony Burke. So your chances on the day are not that you're going to keep the Braves off the scoreboard. It's certainly not just for 2 runs. Buckham hitting the 2-1 right back up the middle. Rivera come around third easily to score for the Braves, and Ethan Buckham with an RBI single. There it is right on cue, RBI 48 of the season for Ethan Buckham.
Third baseman, number 12, Trey Jacobs.
Braves on the board for the first time today, and Trey Jacobs will bat next for UNCP. Rivera scoring on that play from second. Trey Jacobs to the plate with his .407 average this season. He and Luke Jackson batting above .400 for the Braves. Holloway's first pitch to Jacobs scoots him off the dish, but it's called a strike on the inner half. Again, that home plate umpire today is Brett Dickerson. We'll play 2 this afternoon, doubleheader for games 1 and 2 of the series. Jacobs swinging at the 0-1, lofts it towards left field. Almost a wedge shot that had a chance to fall, but a nice catch on the run by Cole Clark out of left. 2 now gone for the Braves. They'll still have a runner hanging on at first in Ethan Buckham. First inning action today in Pembroke. Peach Belt Conference in its final regular season weekend. Mentioned coming in, Georgia Southwestern last in the standings. They're going to stay there UNC Pembroke 5th in the PBC. Next closest to Georgia Southwestern is 3 wins up. On this final weekend, also Lynn and Augusta, North Georgia and Lander is a ground ball at short, and it's scooped up by Skelton on to Beta at second, and one pitch will do it for Luke Jackson in the bottom half of the first. Braves do net a run on a pair of hits. They leave one. So we go to the second. Georgia Southwestern 2, UNCP 1 here on the UNCP Sports Network.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Headed to the second inning in Pembroke, where it is 2-1, Georgia Southwestern leading UNC Pembroke. Trevor Williams with you. Glad to have you with us. Alex Butler, our producer today here on the UNCP Sports Network. 2 runs in the first off of Anthony Burke for Georgia Southwestern and the Hurricanes. They have 7, 8, 9 in their order. Dakota Long, Tyler Skelton, and Bradley Huff due up in their second. Burke settled down in the first after a leadoff double, an error, and a single. Retired the next 3. And we'll see if he can get into rhythm from there. Wins the award for the most faded cap in the Peach Belt Conference. It's taken a good bit of sun and dirt over his UNC Pembroke career. And a low outside from Dakota Long, the catcher. Close second on the Braves team is Seth Hardings, who stands at second base. The 1-0 over the lower outside edge to Long. Split the count of the ball and a strike. Dakota Long batting just .221 this season, bottom third, with Long, the senior, Skelton, the freshman, and Huff, the junior, all hitting at just about .220 or lower. It's .213 for Skelton, .210 for Huff. Braves will have to take care of this portion of the order today to have success. And high and outside from Long. We mentioned that great home split for UNCP, 24-2. 5-15 for Georgia Southwestern away from home. 2-2 off the hands. Bloop towards center. Braves not going to get to it. A base hit for Dakota Long to lead off the second for the Hurricanes.
The shortstop.
And they have a runner aboard right away. Just like they started that first inning, Dakota Long picking up the team's 3rd hit. Tyler Skelton will be up next for the Hurricanes. 2-1 GSW lead. Right before the break, we were telling you about the games around the PBC today. Mentioned North Georgia and Lander. So USC Aiken Flagler, Georgia College Columbus State. Augusta playing Lynn in a non-conference doubleheader. A strike across to Skelton. This is Tyler Skelton, the shortstop for Georgia Southwestern. Batting .213 this season. Has started all 40 games that he's played in. Swings and misses at the next from Burke. A strikeout in that first inning for Anthony Burke. Got Andy Moore, the cleanup man, swinging. Was in a big spot with corner runners before the Braves were able to get a ground out from Jonathan Martin that did drive in a run. A pop out on the right side of the infield ended that first. Burke trying to stretch it to the outer edge. A ball and 2 strikes to Skelton. Braves would have been rooting for Flagler last night in terms of the region race in the Southeast region, and USC Aiken did pick up the victory game 1 of that series. Time called out of the right side by Skelton. Where the Braves are chasing in the PBC. Game and a half off of North Georgia in the standings. Columbus State, USC Aiken, Georgia College safely ahead of the Braves. A foul off on the first base side for Skelton. We'll try again at 1 and 2. That PBC tournament this year will be at Flagler's house, May 11th and 12th. The 13th as well to finish off that weekend. We'll wrap up the regular season series tomorrow here in Pembroke against Georgia Southwestern. So another 1-2 fouled off by Tyler Skelton. Dakota Long aboard on a leadoff single in the visitors' half of the second. 2-2 strike pitches fouled off by Skelton. A check over at first and nothing going on there. Already 3 hits for the Hurricanes. And Burke's 1-2. Hit hard to center field. Line towards Rivera. Late read on it. Comes in. Tries to make a diving catch and it lands for a base hit. Tyler Skelton getting the single and Long up to second.
Third baseman.
So first and second for the Hurricanes with nobody out. Bradley Huff, the third baseman, next for Georgia Southwestern. What an offensive start for the Hurricanes against Braves ace Anthony Burke. Burke, of all the pitchers on this UNCP team, not one of the guys you would worry about getting hit around. He's had the 3.07 ERA this year. We mentioned the 77 strikeouts to 12 walks. Coming in was only giving up just over a hit an inning. He's already given up 4 through his first inning and change here today. Bradley Huff putting down a bunt, first base side. Granger going to go to third with it, and he'll catch the lead runner. That's out number 1. Heads up defense by Granger. Failed sacrifice bunt attempt for Bradley Huff. It's Long out at third. Skelton moves up to second on the play, but he'll stay first and second for Georgia Southwestern, and out number 1. Good communication on the infield for the Braves to alert Granger that he had time to throw to third out of that first base spot and beat Long over there. Not a good sacrifice bunt for Bradley Huff as he really pushed it too hard at Connor Granger. That led to that failed sacrifice. Jason Beta back to the top of the order. Started the day with a double, and he skies one to right field. Backham has room in front of the warning track, and he'll make the catch with the shades on. Moving up from second to third, tagging on the plate, Tyler Skelton.
The center fielder, Josh
Out number 2
Logan.
here in the inning for Georgia Southwestern, and corner runners with 2 outs. Josh Logan will try to get it done for Georgia Southwestern as they are now 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Plenty of opportunities here early against Anthony Burke. Now, what is Bark in the Park Day today at Sammy Cox Field? We've got dogs in attendance, also an alumni weekend for UNCP baseball. So a big crowd on hand here at Sammy Cox Field, looking for the Braves to find some early success. He'll start with Burke trying to strand a couple runners here in the second. His first pitch to Josh Logan. Swung on and missed. Logan hit the slow grounder on the third base side at Trey Jacobs last inning that ended up being an E5. It brought home a run for the Hurricanes. They'd score 2 in the inning, neither earned. Burke's 0-1 pitch. And too low to Josh Logan. Braves in their first inning, the hits from Roberto Rivera and Ethan Backham. Backham an RBI single to bring home Rivera. Towards the right side, going the other way with it. Josh Logan for a base hit, and that'll score a run for the Hurricanes. RBI single for Josh Logan, productive day. He's put it in play twice to bring home a couple runs. One on an error didn't give him RBI credit. That did drive in Tyler Skelton. Bradley Huff up to second on the play, and still 2 outs for Georgia Southwestern, but they make it at least a run here in each of the first 2 innings. They struck for 2 in the first inning of play, and now 1 here in the second. First and second and 2 gone. As Trevor Clemens had the short visit with Anthony Burke up on the hill. Burke again has pitched in 4 consecutive Brave victories, 3 of them his wins. Part of his 7-2 record on the season. He tosses outside from Jared Jones, a ball and no strikes. Game 1 of a series in the month of April has been a sure thing for the Braves in PBC play with Burke at the helm. He's trying to get through a perfect month. His 1-0 delivery hit hard to right field with some carry, pushing Backham back to the track. He reaches on the run and makes the catch for out number 3. Taking away extra bases from Jared Jones as Georgia Southwestern brings home a run on 3 hits, and they leave 2 runners on base. Braves back to the plate when we return.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
A 3-1 lead for Georgia Southwestern into the bottom half of the second inning. Trevor Williams with you here on the UNCP Sports Network. Seth Hardings, Connor Granger, Elijah Helton, 6, 7, 8 due up for the Braves to open their home half of the second. Good start for the Hurricanes off of Brave starter Anthony Burke. 5 hits, 3 runs already plated. Only 1 of the 3 earned so far, but any way you can get him off of Burke will work in PBC play. So Seth Hardings to lead off the home half of the second for UNCP. Redshirt sophomore out of Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. Hardings batting .372 this year. The sophomore consistent with 42 runs driven in. 18 extra base hits. Starts with a single right back up the middle. Glove was nearly to it for Mitch Holloway, but 1 pitch and Hardings up the center of the diamond to lead off the Braves' second.
Up next for the Braves, first baseman number 40, Connor Granger.
Mentioned the great crowd today on hand, and the Braves don't want to spoil that opportunity in front of a great home crowd. They've been so good at home this year, that 24-2 record. Obviously undefeated at home in non-conference plays. They went undefeated non-conference action on the season. Their only losses in home conference play against number 15 USC Aiken March 31st. It was after they had already won the series. It's a strike across to Granger. And the second of those 2 home PBC losses came back in the first home PBC game of the year against Augusta February 16th. That was a slugfest 18-16. Check on first, and back over there diving in Seth Hardings. Three hits now at the start for the Braves. Rivera, Baucom, Hardings here to open the second. Granger fouling off the 0-1 pitch. Again, a tale of two completely different stories at the end of the season here. Georgia Southwestern just trying to finish the season the right way for their senior class, move some momentum forward into the offseason. UNC Pembroke very much in the thick of an NCAA postseason conversation. And Granger strikes out. A nice pitch from Holloway. First strikeout for Holloway today. Hardings will hang out at first base. One gone for the Braves in the second. Elijah Helton over the last couple of weeks has become a mainstay in the 8th spot for the Braves. Junior DHing now consistently with a .264 average this season. Just his 23rd game here today. In 53 at-bats, has come up with 14 hits, 3 doubles, 1 homer. And another check over to first base, where Hardings has to dive in. Throw a little high towards that first baseman, Jared Jones, but he had a good stretch to keep it right there on the infield. Pitch from Holloway to Helton. It's at visor level for ball 1. Braves at the start batting 1 for 5 with runners on base. One opportunity of success in the first with a runner in scoring position. That was an Ethan Baucom RBI single. Georgia Southwestern struggling, though, in those two categories. Only 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position at the start. Helton lines it hard to center field, but it's right at Logan. And 2 gone for the Braves now rather quickly in the second after the 1-pitch single for Seth Hardings. Chance for Mitch Holloway to get through 2 here. Trying to find his way through the bottom third of this Braves order. Jarrett Mobley, the 9-hitter, up next for the Braves. .266 average on the season for Mobley. And Mobley grounding it back towards the middle of the diamond. It's second and flipped to short, and not in time from Beta to Skelton. Thought he could take a shortcut to cut down Seth Hardings, but digging hard out of first base, Hardings to get there safely. It'll be a fielder's choice to allow Mobley aboard. And first and second for the Braves with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. And Roberto Rivera will have an RBI opportunity now for the Braves. Tough break there for the middle infield for Georgia Southwestern. Beta rather nonchalant about the way that he flipped to Skelton with Hardings trying to get into second. And nice job to beat that underhand toss to the base. Rivera started the game for UNCP with a single on the infield on the right side. Mobley not being held on at first. And Rivera grounds a high chopper left side of the infield. Tough play here for a charging shortstop, Skelton. And Skelton gets it there in time for out number 3. Rivera gone. The Braves strand a pair after a hit in the inning. And we go to the third next.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
(3-1) the lead for Georgia Southwestern into the top half of the third inning. Anthony Burke on the mound for the Braves has already been hit for 5 hits here in the contest, as well as 3 runs, 1 of the 3 earned. Georgia Southwestern doing a nice job against him early, as they have 4, 5, 6 more Martin and Clark due up in their half of the third.
Leading off the top of the third for Georgia Southwestern, designated hitter number 2, Andy Moore.
Moore, a strikeout victim, the only strikeout on the day so far for Anthony Burke. So that was back in the first inning. Now the leadoff man here in the third. It's outside for ball 1. It was 3 pitches, 3 strikes to Moore back in the first inning. Burke trying to take a little off his second offering, but missed high. 2 balls, no strikes. Good amount of Georgia Southwestern fans here as well on this road trip for the Hurricanes into Pembroke. 2-1 to Andy Moore. Again, understandable, as this is that final regular season series of the year for these two sides. Braves will have more season, not so for Georgia Southwestern. The grounder towards the middle of the infield. Burke off the mound to his left, and he'll be able to soft toss it over to Granger. Out number 1 in the third for the Hurricanes, and a leadoff man put down for the first time today by Anthony Burke. Couple score updates that we can give you in the PBC today. So we have no score between Lynn and Augusta in the top of the third. They're in Augusta, Georgia, and Lander at home against North Georgia. 1-0, North Georgia leading on the road, bottom of the third. A pitch over the zone to Jonathan Martin to cover it up for strike 1. Flagler USC Aiken also underway, and they are scoreless start of their contest. Fly ball, middle of the infield. Mobley standing behind second, shielding those eyes as he makes the catch for out number 2. So the pop up to short and a quick 2 up, 2 down for Georgia Southwestern in the top half of the third. This looks more like the Anthony Burke we expected to see at the start today. Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. He did retire this portion of the order. Moore, Martin, and Clark for the final outs of the first after a double, an error, and a single. Winds and delivers to Clark. Strike 1 at the knees. 5 of 7 pitches, strikes for Burke here in the third. That makes it 33 of 44 on the day for strikes. Ground ball, third base side. Jacobs trying to dive to it, but it's through into left field for a base hit for Cole Clark. 2-out single for the left fielder, and he's on for the Hurricanes. Dakota Long, the catcher, will bat next.
6,
Georgia Southwestern able to avoid what could have been the first 1-2-3 inning for Anthony Burke on the day. Dakota Long singled to lead off the second. A sacrifice trying to get him from second to third, but he was nabbed at third on a failed sacrifice bunt. Pitch outside from Long. We are at the end of April, a week away from graduation for the UNC Pembroke students. Burke, a senior, will graduate for the Braves there shortly. Runner moving off of first, Cole Clark, and that forces Anthony Burke to reset up on the hill. So you want to look that runner back. Braves additionally in their lineup have just one regular starting senior in Roberto Rivera. Runner takes off this time. Clemens comes up throwing, dots it to second, and it's in and out of the glove of Mobley, who couldn't hold it down on Cole Clark. That'll be a stolen base for the Hurricane left fielder. And a 2-0 count to Dakota Long to go along with it. The umpire there in the field, Eric Byram, looked like he was going to say that if Mobley had kept his hands on it, or kept it in the glove rather, and the glove down on Cole Clark, that it would have been out number 3. As Byram was studying that for a while. And a swing and a miss by Long. Gets Burke back in with a strike, 2-1. Here's some of that barking in the background. Bark in the park today. Get the double header. The Dogs will be here for the better part of probably 6 or 7 hours today. And Burke splits the count at 2-2. Groans from the Georgia Southwestern faithful who traveled here into enemy territory today. Burke a strike away from getting out of the third without a run scoring. It was a 2-out single for Cole Clark. He stole second. And Burke having trouble as he got into that wind coming off the mound, and he will balk there as it'll move Cole Clark from second to third. Count at 2-2 to Dakota Long, and Burke now kicking around at the rubber as he lost his footing going through that delivery to Dakota Long. And that forced him into that ball. And now puts Clark 90 feet away at third base. Still a strike away from being unscathed in the inning. Now the count full. 3-2 to Dakota Long, who singled in the second. For Long, that was his 20th hit of the season. It was the lowest total for anybody up and down this card, and Burke gets the strikeout to get the Braves out of the top half of the third. Second strikeout of the day for Anthony Burke. Cole Clark left stranded at third base, and the Braves post their first scoreless inning of the day. Bottom of the third next, Braves down 2.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Bottom of the third inning in Pembroke, 3-1 the lead for Georgia Southwestern. Trevor Williams with you here on the UNCP Sports Network. Alex Butler, our producer. Johnny Perez running our graphics. Glad to have all of you with us. Braves have Trevor Clemens, Ethan Backham, Trey Jacobs, 2, 3, 4 due up in their half of the third after their first scoreless frame of the day. That came in the top half, punctuated by a strikeout for Anthony Burke. So he got Dakota Long to swing through the opportunity of the runner 90 feet away at third. Burke has already tallied 51 pitches on his day. Pitcher who consistently, you'll see the Braves push to 120 or 130 pitches, especially in those last 4 outings that we've mentioned with 3 consecutive complete games. But that pitch count certainly higher early. 19 pitches in the first, 18 in his second. His least labor intensive in the top half when he threw 14 to get through 4 Hurricane batters. So Trevor Clemens leads off the bottom of the third for the Braves, and he takes ball 1. This Brave pitching staff this year has been a bit of the question mark for UNCP. 5.54 ERA. for Georgia Southwestern. Their staff at 6'3", 1-0 pitch to Clemens. Popped up on the infield. Back out in towards shallow left center. Shortstop being called off, and in for it, the left fielder Clark is able to call it off and make the catch for out number 1. A nice job by Cole Clark to take control there out of left field coming in, and certainly had the easier play on the ball. Did have to cover a lot of ground, but able to keep his shortstop Tyler Skelton from having to make the tough back shuffling catch. So 1 out for Ethan Bockham. Bockham an RBI single in the first inning. And a swing and a miss. Bockham drove in Roberto Rivera for the Braves' only run today. Mitch Holloway's had a good start up on the bump for the Hurricanes. He splits it a ball and a strike to Bockham. In the second, he faced 5 Brave batters, gave up just 1 lone hit. Back in the first, only the 2 hits in the RBI single. A swing and a miss for Bockham, chasing off the outer edge. The slider had him reaching out of the zone, a ball and 2 strikes. It's been 1 strikeout so far for Mitch Holloway. Got Connor Granger swinging last inning. Anthony Burke with a pair so far on the Braves side. Ground ball towards short. Diving, try for it for Skelton. Going to knock it down, but he'll have no throw to first. And in safely for the Braves. With the infield single is Ethan Bockham. A 1-out base runner for UNCP and a 2-for-2 day already for Bockham.
Third baseman Trey Jacobs.
Been a slow start for this Braves offense. Has outscored their opponents this year, 417 to 298. That includes the runs in today's ballgame. They had 416 runs coming in 45 games. For the Braves, that was just over 9 runs a game coming in. Hard grounder back at the mound. Holloway knocks it down, looks at second, doesn't have a throw, tries to go to first, in and out of the glove of the first baseman Jones. Trying to keep a foot on the bag there. Braves going to take third on this as well for Ethan Bockham. Trey Jacobs will be in safely at first base. It'll be an error against the first baseman, against the pitcher, Mitch Holloway. Throw wide down the line. Corner runners with 1 out, and now Holloway will be checked on. As that last offering was a comebacker up at the hill. He was tapping that right leg as his head coach comes in to check it out in this spot as well. That's Brian McLean. Nate Farrell, the assistant for Georgia Southwestern. And McLean, along with home plate umpire Brett Dickerson, will now watch Mitch Holloway as he throws at least 1 pitch to test it out here. Looks like he'll offer a couple. Corner runners for the Braves with 1 out in the bottom half of the third. After a hit and an error here in the inning for UNCP.
The left fielder, Luke Jackson.
Luke Jackson up next for the Braves. Jackson, a ground out to short in the first inning, ended the Braves first. Scott Bockham at third this time. He was at first base in his first at-bat of the day when Ethan was left back in the first inning. Jackson, the team's leader in runs driven in this year, was 60. Team leading 11 home runs already. If he finds his 12th, the Braves will be in front. Holloway's 1-0 and too low for ball 2. So Holloway just took the comebacker off the right leg. And gonna have to pick his defense up behind him after the error here in the inning. First for Georgia Southwestern today. Braves already had an error in the first. Lead to a couple unearned runs. A check at third and first for Mitch Holloway. Holloway's had a good game so far with the strikeout, no walks. 4 hits to the 13 batters he's faced. Came in with that rather tough luck 2-9 record this year. Jackson fouling off the 2-0. We're about a third of the way through game 1 of this doubleheader today. Bark in the Park Alumni Weekend for UNCP baseball. Senior Day to come tomorrow, the series finale. Jackson, a big opportunity here in the third. It's 3 balls and 1 strike to Luke Jackson. That count swelling to the Braves left fielder, who grounded out to short in that first inning, as we said, was the final out of the first. Already 3 times today, Holloway's utilized ground outs to short for an out. It's 3 of his 7 outs so far. Runner from first takes off. Jackson hits in the air to right field. It's got some late life towards the fence. Jackson puts it over the wall for a 3-run home run. His team leading 12th of the season, and the Braves take the lead.
Whoever is the loudest will be our winner, so make some noise.
Opposite way for Luke Jackson, with a little hit and run on from first. He wondered if it was going to have enough carry at the end, and the wind just pushing out that direction. As Jackson with the 3-run home run does put the Braves ahead, 4-3.
The second baseman, Seth Hardings.
Bring up Seth Hardings for UNC Pembroke. What a job for Jackson just to push it towards that line. Was running away from the right fielder, Jonathan Martin. Braves trying to sneak one down on the third base side, but it was foul. No balls and a strike to Seth Hardings. 1 out, bottom of the third, and UNC Pembroke takes its first lead of the day. Braves' 51st home run of the season. Their opponents have hit 50 on the year. RBIs 61, 62, and 63 for Luke Jackson. That error really stings down here in the inning for the Hurricanes. Strike over to Hardings on the lower outside edge. That's what we said early on for the Braves, though. They just wanted to be calm in those opening innings when things weren't going their way, as their offense plenty capable of clawing back into a ball game. The 0-2 pitch, too low to Hardings. Ball and 2 strikes to Seth, who singled in his first at-bat last inning. Lead off that second inning for the Braves, which was a scoreless inning. Now 1 in the first, 3 in the third for UNCP. And Hardings on the ground at second. The roller to Beta as he's able to go to first for out number 2. 4-3 that put out, 2 gone for the Braves in their half of the third. Connor Granger, the first baseman, up next.
Connor Granger.
Braves right now ranked 19th nationally, so right on the edge of that Southeast region picture in the NCAA postseason conversation. 8th in that region, you need to be 7 in the region to get in. Of course, that is barring any upsets in conference tournaments around the Southeast region. The pitch to Granger, First pitch hit in the air to right field. It's got a little bit of late life to it again with that wind pushing to right, but Martin is able to make the catch out in front of the scoreboard for out number 3. So one pitch and the out, but not before the Braves cash in on the 3-run home run for Luke Jackson, his 12th of the season, to make it a 4-3 UNCP advantage.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
A 4-3 lead for UNC Pembroke now as we go to the top half of the 4th inning. Trevor Williams with you on the UNCP Sports Network. Glad to have you with us today in Pembroke. Anthony Burke working with a lead for the first time this afternoon. 51 pitches so far for Burke. And he'll want to pick up the pace a little bit after that opening third.
For Georgia Southwestern, shortstop,
51 right now. He's not going to make it the distance. He'll need a quick inning or two here in the middle third to try to get back on schedule. Burke again with the 5 complete games this season. Includes complete game efforts each of his last 3. It's a line drive towards center. Rivera coming in, dives out on a short hop, almost got to it. Mobley will scamper to it, just left to short now. Nearly a big diving catch for Roberto Rivera, but Tyler Skelton opens up the 4th with a single for Georgia Southwestern. So that's how the Hurricanes start inning number 4. Bradley Huff, the third baseman, up next for GSW. If you take it over the last 6 games for Anthony Burke, 5 of the 6 have been 8 2/3 or longer, 4 of the 6 at 9 innings. The USCA can win on March 29th for the Braves, which was no decision for Burke. Totaled 7 innings for Anthony. Bradley Huff fouling off the first. Bottom third of the order already has contributed 3 of the 7 hits to Georgia Southwestern's totals. We mentioned that bottom third was hitting no better than .221. Burke moves at first, and not even with a lead off of that bag over first base, Tyler Skelton. Still standing atop first. Burke maybe thinking he'd have a chance to catch him, and now he does. A pickoff over to first base, and that erases Tyler Skelton. Back-to-back moves there for the Braves, and 1 gone for Georgia Southwestern in the top of the 4th. What a move by Anthony Burke. It's 0-1 to Bradley Huff. Turns his attention home. As Huff hits it in the air towards right field. Backham right there to make the catch for out number 2.
Back to the top of the order.
Now 2 gone for the Hurricanes. It goes back to the top of their order for Jason Beta, the second baseman. 12 combined hits for these 2 sides. 7 already for Georgia Southwestern off of Anthony Burke. Burke hasn't allowed more than 7 in his last 4 starts. Pitch fouled off the third base side by Beta. The last time Burke gave up more than 7 hits, he was facing the top offense in the Peach Belt Conference by average, Georgia College. 10 hits off of Burke in his 8 2/3 innings. 0-1 from Anthony. On the ground at second, to Hopper out there to Hardings, and he throws to first for out number 3. That's a quick inning for Anthony Burke, just what the doctor ordered for the Braves starter. So move to the bottom of the 4th, Braves lead by 1.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Bottom half of the 4th inning, a 1-run lead for UNC Pembroke. 4-3 over the Georgia Southwestern Hurricanes. Glad to have you with us on the UNCP Sports Network today for doubleheader action. The Peach Belt Conference between Georgia Southwestern and UNCP. Braves taking the lead for the first time last inning. A 3-run home run from Luke Jackson, his 12th of the season. Continue to take a look around our Peach Belt schedule here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Braves will have their eyes on a few games today. We won't have live updates from Georgia College and Columbus State. We might be able to post some from Flagler and USC Aiken. That one was scoreless top of the 1st. North Georgia 2-0 lead bottom of the 5th at Lander. Lynn at Augusta, a 4-0 lead for the Fighting Knights over the Jaguars on the road there in the bottom of the 4th. Augusta, the team in non-conference play at this point, is the first batter in is Elijah Helton. He rips it off the shoulder of Holloway into center field. Just tattooed it back up the middle. That's now the second time that Mitch Holloway has been caught by a pitch back up the middle of the diamond. That one gonna hurt a lot more than the first, in which it was a chopped comebacker that at least took a bounce before it got to his right leg. That was just a straight screaming liner for Elijah Helton that grazed a piece of the shoulder for Holloway on its way through. But he calls off the attention from the dugout on the first base side, and we'll go right back to work against Jarrett Mobley, the Braves shortstop. Big leadoff single here in the 4th for the Braves. Mobley trying to put down a bunt, puts a nice one down first base side, but it just hops foul. That was going to have the right pacing for Mobley. If it stayed fair, he would have had a shot for a bunt single. 0-1 to the Braves shortstop, who hit into a fielder's choice back in the 2nd on one pitch. UNCP was trying to set it up for the top of the order to have a man in scoring position with an out. Mobley taking that stroll back into the plate. What a tear Luke Jackson's been on at the plate these last couple series. Widening his home run lead on the team to now 4 with his 12th today. Mobley able to scoot the barrel back for ball 1. Even though he was showing bunt there, ball and a strike. Anthony Burke coming off a 5-pitch 4th inning. Was his easiest inning by far. Mobley trying to jump back out of the way as it's all the way through to the backstop, and Helton's going to take second. And Mobley was just able to limbo away from it. Be a wild pitch, 2-1 the count to Jarrett Mobley. And he's all right other than the scare of seeing that pitch in towards the eyes. So he now has that runner into scoring position at 2-1 count. And he'll have a talk with Jeff Jefferson down the third base line, Braves third base coach. So he'll talk about this spot now with Helton in scoring position, and no longer necessarily do you need the sacrifice bunt. You could still be looking that direction if you want to put Helton 90 feet away. Maybe in that situation, a good ground ball to the right side would do just that, move your man up another 90. Give you a chance to put it through as well. Mobley does show that bunt. First base side crashes. It's right back at the mound. Helton not able to go from second, and the throw to first is there for the out. Mobley not able to get that bunt down the way he wanted. And it goes 1-3 for out number one. Helton having to stay put at second base. We've now seen either side miss on a sacrifice bunt attempt. It's been unable to move a runner. We go back to the top of the order with Helton in scoring position. Braves 2 for 4 with runners in position today. Rivera 1 for 2 today. He takes out of the zone for ball one. Roberto is single in the first, grounded out to shortstop in the second. Mentioned the only regular senior starter in this Braves order. It's their second best offense by average in the PBC. Will have 8 of the 9 returning next year. Rivera takes ball two. Only for a short stint at the beginning of the season did we see anyone else for the Braves in the leadoff spot, and that was Trevor Clemens. Well, Roberto Rivera had an injury at the start of the year. Only missed a couple games because of it. Braves have played 45, Rivera in 41 of them and 40 starts. A breaking ball, checking in for a strike to Roberto. No action either. Bullpen bottom of the fourth inning. Both starters putting up some good work in the opening innings. Holloway just wants one pitch back on the home run to Luke Jackson. Swing and a miss for Rivera to take it to 2-2. And if you take an error off the Braves ledger in the first inning, it's been just one earned run off of Anthony Burke today for the Hurricanes. Rivera trying to make something happen now, bottom of the fourth. Braves looking to follow up a 3-run scoring frame last inning on the homer for Jackson. Rivera hits it on the ground at short. Again, that's going to keep Helton there. The throw from short by Skelton over to first for out number 2. Hurricanes on the last 2 plays able to keep Elijah Helton right at second base. That's all you can ask. Now you've given Mitch Holloway the opportunity to get out of this fourth inning unscathed. It'll be Trevor Clemens against him, who's 0 for 2 today, trying to get the job done here in the fourth and driving Helton. Helton, who had the hard line drive to open the inning, even brushed a piece of the back of Mitch Holloway. Braves half the opportunities of runners in scoring position that Georgia Southwestern has had, but they do have the lead. Strike one to Trevor Clemens. It was a big time blast for Luke Jackson. Out of his 12th of the season, 63 runs driven in for Jackson. In the Peach Belt Conference, he is the RBI leader along with Brave teammate Trey Jacobs. That's inside, almost caught Clemens, gets all the way to the backstop instead, and Helton will have another 90 feet. Ball and a strike to Trevor Clemens, and both bases advanced for Elijah Helton have been on wild pitches here in the fourth. Goes Jackson and Jacobs 1-2. That RBI discussion in the Peach Belt Conference. Jackson the first in the conference over 60. Ethan Bauckham down that list in 8th with his 47. Now 48 after his first inning RBI. Clemens ahead in his count, 2-1. There's no doubt in that the Braves can certainly hit the baseball. Luke Jackson batting .420 this year. That's his second best average in the PBC. 3-1 to Clemens. Braves walks leader in a great count at 3-1. Trey Jacobs, who waits in the hole for the Braves, is that third leading hitter in the PBC behind Luke Jackson with a .407 average. 4 batters above 400 in the Peach Belt, and the Braves have 2 of them. Clemens fouls it off the catcher long for strike 2. Will be a payoff pitch coming to Trevor Clemens, who's 0 for 2 today. Ethan Bauckham waits on deck. 2 for 2 with a run driven in and a run scored. Both pitchers right now at 56 pitches. The 57th for Holloway is fouled back off the netting behind the plate. We'll try the payoff once again. Seven pitch at bat here to Trevor Clemens, becoming the longest at bat of the day against Mitch Holloway. Holloway had only been in one of their 3-ball count to this point. That was the home run to Luke Jackson in the 3rd. That was payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, and a big strikeout for Holloway to work his way out of the 4th. Just a couple pitches off the pace of Anthony Burke. His Hurricanes back by a run. They'll be back at the plate in the 5th when we return.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Into the 5th inning, a 1-run lead for UNC Pembroke, 4-3 over the Georgia Southwestern Hurricanes. Trevor Williams with you on the UNCP Sports Network. Alex Butler is on the controls to our right. Johnny Perez taking care of that score you see on screen, which is 4-3. Anthony Burke, a tremendous 5-pitch inning in the 4th. Took his pitch count for the game to 56, 42 strikes. He's 2 pitches ahead of the pace of Mitch Holloway on Georgia Southwestern's side, who is through 4 at 58 pitches. We'll face 2, 3, 4, Josh Logan, Jared Jones, Andy Moore here in the 5th for Georgia Southwestern. Best part of the Hurricane order. 3 batters batting 280 plus in Logan, Jones, and Moore. A bunch shown, he pulled it back for ball 1 to Josh Logan. Doubleheader today in PBC play for the Braves. Scheduled doubleheader. Games 1 and 2 of the series, with game 3 tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Fly ball, left center. Rivera coming in. He's got plenty of room, and he will call for it to make the catch. 1 gone, visitors half of the 5th.
Now batting,
the Braves trying to make a move in the PBC. Just that game and a half off of North Georgia, and we're watching that score today. North Georgia had the early lead at Lander. Well, it was the bottom of the 5th, a 2-0 lead for the Nighthawks. Strike taken by Jared Jones, the first baseman for Georgia Southwestern. It's 0-1. It's now a 2-1 game in the 6th. Lander getting 1 back at home. Ground ball foul, third base side off the bat of Jones, 0-2. I mentioned Burke would love a couple quick innings here in the middle third as he was at 51 pitches through 3. Just 5 his last inning, and now his 0-2 to Jared Jones. Lands just outside. 2 strikeouts today for Burke as well. Got Andy Moore swinging in the first, Dakota Long swinging in the third. 1-2 pitch from the right-hander. And just inside under the hands of Jones. Braves to have Baucom, Jacobs, Jackson. 3, 4, 5 heart of the order due up in the bottom of the 5th. Flirting with the upper outside edge of the zone. Anthony Burke, but just couldn't quite spot it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Steep at bat here for Jones after falling behind 0-2. And Jones works all the way back to get the walk. So a 1-out free pass of Jared Jones, and he's aboard for the Hurricanes, who have had at least a base runner in each of these first 5 innings off of Anthony Burke, which is no easy task.
Number 2, Andy Moore.
That is the first walk allowed by Burke today to go alongside his 2 strikeouts. 4 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 of which has been earned. And Andy Moore stands in, who's 0 for 2 today. No double play balls yet for the Braves. Ground ball, right side, trying to lunge to it, Granger, but it's on through into right field. It'll go station to station for Georgia Southwestern as Jones pulls up at second base. And Andy Moore with the 1-out single for the Hurricanes to make it first and second.
Now batting, right fielder number 20.
Georgia Southwestern now 4 for 12 with runners on base. They've done all right in that category, but we're going to see them try to improve on their runners in scoring position marks today, where they've been 2 for 10. Paul O'Neill taking a visit out to the mound, calling the infield together. No one's been working in that Brave bullpen, so he's going to talk it out with the Braves here on the infield. So he gets a chance to get out there and meet with Anthony Burke. Again, tomorrow at 1 o'clock scheduled start. Braves will conclude their regular season schedule there. Park in the Park today. Game 2 will follow the conclusion. This one will be a separate stream link. Also available right there on that UNCP Athletics YouTube page. Remind you that your 2017 North Carolina Small Town of the Year backs the Braves, and you should too. Thanks to the town of Pembroke for their generous support. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Pembroke, North Carolina, located in Robeson County in southeastern North Carolina along the Lumber River. You can find out more about it. Visit PembrokeNC.com for more information on the beautiful home of UNCP. 1 out, 2 on, and a swing and a miss after the visit by Jonathan Martin, the right fielder. Burke ahead of these last 3 batters to start each of the at-bats with a strike. Jones a walk, Moore a single. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Burke. And it's in the air to center field. Rivera's got a beat on it there. And he'll settle to make the catch. Nobody tagging for Georgia Southwestern. So that is out number 2, still first and second. Both outs here in the 5th on flyouts to Roberto Rivera in center field. Chance for the Braves to take us to the halfway point with a lead. UNCP got it in the 3rd on a 3-run home run from Luke Jackson. After Georgia Southwestern was out to a 2-0 lead after the top of the 1st and a 3-1 lead after the top half of the 2nd. Jones at second, Moore at first, 2 away. Neither runner on base, a stolen base threat for Georgia Southwestern. And not a ton of speed for Cole Clark, the left fielder now at the plate to work with. There's a low and outside from Clark. Clark did single his last at-bat. He stole second in that 3rd inning. Was the only base runner against Burke there in the 3rd. Anthony trying for 3 straight scoreless innings. So he's an out away from that. 1-0 pitch. Foul tipped into the glove of Clemens. 1 ball and 1 strike. Clark, the 1-for-2 day and a 243 average for the season. 5 doubles, 2 triples. No homers yet for him. He fouls off the 1-1 pitch. Burks had his 2 punch outs. His first walk of the game came here in this inning. His 3rd strikeout. Could take this to the halfway point. 14 pitch inning here for Burke. Has him at 70 for the game. Here's just 1-2. And it's on the ground left side. Mobley deep in the hole. Going to go to second, and he zooms it over to Hardings for out number 3. Good wherewithal for Jarrett Mobley to know he had second in his back pocket, and the Braves strand a pair. No runs across there in the inning for Georgia Southwestern. We're halfway home in UNCP, up 1 on the UNCP Sports Network.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Bottom of the 5th inning in Pembroke, a 4-3 lead for UNCP. Seen for the last inning and a half, these two sides scoreless. Braves with their 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd take their 4-3 advantage. That's where we've sat now here into the bottom half of the 5th. Halfway point in game 1 of the doubleheader today between Georgia Southwestern and UNC Pembroke. Ethan Baucom, Trey Jacobs, Luke Jackson, 3-4-5 for the Braves in their home half of the 5th. Baucom already a 2-hit day. Came around to score in the 3rd as well. RBI single in the 1st. The redshirt sophomore from Rockingham working his season average up to 312. Both of his singles up the middle. So Mitch Holloway stands atop the rubber. And the righty forced delivery to Baucom on the ground, foul, 3rd base side. Eight hits for Georgia Southwestern, 6 for UNC Pembroke. Both sides in air, the Hurricanes have left on 6. The Braves stranding 4 on their bases this afternoon. 0-1 from Holloway. On the ground, 3rd base side. Baucom hits it right at Huff over there, and he goes across the diamond for out number 1. 2 pitches and an out log there by Mitch Holloway. Faring well against one of the best offenses in the Peach Belt Conference today.
3rd baseman Trey Jacobs.
Outside of that 3-run homer in the 3rd, only one other run-producing RBI. That single for Baucom in the 1st. And that homer for Jackson back in the 3rd inning. Opposite field, so it's hard to call it cheap, but it definitely wasn't one of his hardest hit homers of the year. A single up the middle for Trey Jacobs on 1 pitch. Trey's first hit of the afternoon after he reached on an error in the 3rd before the homer for Luke Jackson. Flew out to left back in the 1st. So we'll bring back Luke Jackson. Already with that big homer.
Left fielder Luke Jackson.
12 homers for Jackson. Has him as that Brave team leader. And he's done a ton of damage lately. 4 home runs in his last 5 games. He had 2 in Game 3 against Flagler last Sunday. Wouldn't mind another multi-home run effort today. Jacobs already aboard and a check on first. The game against Flagler for Jackson, 7 RBI day for the Peach Belt Conference RBI leader. That tied his season high for runs driven in a game. With a 1-run lead, Trey Jacobs, the 1-out single on just a pitch. The at-bat here before Jackson. He's ready with his lead, and Holloway's pitch in the dirt. Jackson's had 2 7 RBI games this year. 1 game was 6 against Lander back in February. Outside of that, only 3 RBI games or fewer. The ribbies have come in bunches for Luke Jackson. Another check on first, and Trey Jacobs back over there safely. Is the hit in this one as well. Sits on the ground, third base side foul. That hit for Jackson with the home run total makes it hits in each of his last 6 games. 3 hits each of his last 2, and he logged 7 the whole series against Flagler. 2 against Coker back on April 18th and 1 at Wingate on April 17th. That was the start of what is now a short 6-game hitting streak for Luke Jackson. 1-1 pitch to him. It's low outside for ball 2. Mitch Holloway being careful now in this 5th inning, knowing Jackson's power. Went the opposite way to right field. Wind helped push it over the fence and right. Lead off of first for Trey Jacobs. Another check on first. Clouds rolled in a bit now here in the middle of this afternoon. Jacobs taking off, pitch in the dirt, not going to be corralled by Long. And in safely, Trey Jacobs with the stolen base. 3-1 the count to Luke Jackson, and now a base open. Mitch Holloway might take his chances with allowing Jackson aboard now instead of humming one in at 3 balls and a strike. You don't want to give Jackson that opportunity for a second home run of the day. So here's that 3-1 pitch. Check swing, and it's low. Walk number 1 of the day surrendered by Mitch Holloway. First and second for the Braves with 1 out. Their bottom half of the 5th inning.
Up next for the Braves, second
Still
baseman,
no Hurricanes working in their
Barney.
bullpen down the right field line. Just 66 pitches so far from Mitch Holloway, as we've said, has fared remarkably well against a very good UNCP offense. He's definitely gotten that vote of confidence out of his dugout on the first base side. So Seth Hardings, who's 1 for 2 today, will get an opportunity now for the Braves, trying to move some runners or better in the bottom of the 5th. Hardings taking one in the dirt. Braves have been held scoreless in 2 of their 4 innings offensively so far. It was in the 2nd and the 4th. Braves struck for a run in the first, 3 in the 3rd. Holloway ready in his 1-0 pitch. Hit up the middle by Hardings towards center. A line drive right out to Logan. And out number 2 for the Braves. Gonna have a chance off the bat to settle for Seth Hardy.
Now batting for UNCP first
Ended
baseman
up right into that glove of Josh
Granger.
Logan, hardly having to move out there at center. So still first and second, the Brave runners, and Connor Granger will get the next opportunity for UNCP. Granger 0 for 2 so far. A strikeout swinging, flew out to right field. One of the 2 punch-outs for Mitch Holloway today. Also got Trevor Clemens swinging in the 4th. Granger hitting in the air to center field with some carry. Going back Logan, running out of room towards the track, and Connor Granger runs it out of here to right center. 3-run blast for the first baseman, Granger. His 8th of the season, 45 runs driven in, and the Braves take a 7-3 lead. You had a feeling off the bat that it had a shot for Connor Granger. They really got that ball spinning out to right center. Josh Logan didn't have a chance late up on the track. He was going to have a late jump against the wall, but it just carried over. It outran the center fielder for the Hurricanes, and the Braves now lead by 4. And that feels much better all of a sudden for Anthony Burke. The Braves' first 2-out hit of the day on the 3-run home run for Connor Granger. And Elijah Helton hits this to left field. It's into the wind, and a catch made by Cole Clark as that died quickly off the bat of Helton. Out number 3 there for the Braves in the inning. We're through 5. 3-run homer for Connor Granger puts it as a 4-run lead for the Braves. We'll be back with the 6th next.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Other games going on.
It's 71 pitches so far for Anthony Burke. We head into the top half of the 6th inning, a 4-run lead for UNC Pembroke after the 3-run homer for Connor Granger there in the bottom half of the 5th. They're just talking about the scoreboard in the PBC here at Sammy Cox Field over the public address system. Talk about those PBC scores. North Georgia, a 2-1 lead on the road at Lander, top of the 7th. USC Aiken, 4-0 lead at Flagler, top of the 2nd there in St. Augustine, Florida. So in the 6th, Dakota Long, Tyler Skelton, Bradley Huff, bottom 3rd of the order for Georgia Southwestern. It's the pitch outside from Long to start him 1-0. Long has gone down on one of the 2 strikeouts for Anthony Burke today. Burke hasn't had a strikeout since the 3rd. A 5-pitch 4th inning for Burke, but then 15 in the 5th. Has him at 73 right now. The fly ball to left field. Luke Jackson, a beat on it, still shy of the warning track, and makes the catch for out number 1.
The shortstop.
So Burke could use a quick inning here in the 6th. Again, a guy that we've seen the Braves push between 120 and 130 pitches this year. They really feel like they can take Burke kind of to the brink there of those pitch statistics. He didn't need a bullpen his last 3 games, complete games in all of them, and he's behind a ball, no strikes to Tyler Skelton. I mentioned those phenomenal numbers. Guys racked up PBC Pitcher of the Week honors this year. Ground ball third base side, right to the glove of Jacobs, and across the diamond for out number 2. 5 pitches, 2 outs here in the 6th. Burke looking to go 1, 2, 3 through the bottom third of this Georgia Southwestern order. Has not put down the Hurricanes in order yet today. Those numbers you see on your screen were coming into play today. And what is start number 13 for Anthony Burke? Trying for his 8th win of the year. He's too low to Bradley Huff. The other side, Mitch Holloway, it started off really well. His first 2 1/3 innings and a 3-run homer for Luke Jackson, 3-run homer for Connor Granger last inning, changed the game significantly. What a running throw by Trey Jacobs down that third baseline in the first 1, 2, 3 inning of the afternoon for Anthony Burke. It takes just 7 pitches to dispatch the Hurricanes, and the Braves will be back at the bottom of the 6th.
Official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Bottom of the 6th inning in Pembroke next, a 7-3 UNCP lead. 4-run cushion for Anthony Burke, who's at 78 pitches through 6 innings. Still pump out ABC on the speakers here at Sammy Cox Field, as that was the first 1, 2, 3 inning for Anthony Burke of the day. Did have a 5-pitch inning back in the 4th, but did allow a base runner and a single. He picked that man off. It was the second time on the day that Burke had faced just 3 batters in an inning. So now his offense will try to continue to pad the lead. 9-1-2, Jarrett Mobley, Roberto Rivera, and Trevor Clements in the bottom of the 6th for the Braves.
The shortstop, Jarrett Mobley.
Only 2 losses at home for the Braves this year. 1 in the month of March, 1 in the month of February. Braves this weekend trying to make it a perfect month of April at home. The first pitch to Mobley, low and outside. Hit into a fielder's choice in the 2nd, then grounded back to the left of the mound in the 4th. Tried to put down a bunt in that spot. Hit it too sharply back at Holloway. It was high and tight and almost grabbed Mobley. It's the 2nd time in this ballgame that he's almost been hit by a pitch up and in. 2-0 to the Braves shortstop. 262 average for Jarrett this year, 42 hits, 24 runs driven in. Able to hold back for ball 3. Just wanted to go after it off that lower outside edge. He has a great hitters count now at 3-0. Too high for ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Jarrett Mobley to open the bottom half of the 6th. So he set the table for the top of the Braves order. Rivera 1 for 3 today, a single coming back in the 1st inning. We'll have a visit out of the first base dugout by Brian McClain. Hurricanes have a left-hander up and working in the bullpen as McClain makes his way to the mound. 74 pitches for McClain now. or not for McLean, but for Mitch Holloway now. As McLean talks to Holloway in the spot of those 74 pitches.
Do they dream of Marlin zebras or Halle Berry in her Catwoman suit?
Just a short discussion there up on the bump. Trying to get the right-hander settled back in. It's almost 3/4 of the way to the century mark. Home runs given up by him in the 3rd and 5th innings. Roberto Rivera will bat next for the Braves. With a man on and back at the top of the Braves order. Rivera singled in that 1st inning, ground outs in the 2nd and the 4th. It's fouled off right back behind the plate. 0-1 to Rivera. Eight hits now to either side today, both sides with an error. The Braves have 4 more runs, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 1st. Georgia Southwestern, nothing after 3 in their first 2 innings. Mobley was safe over there on the check at first. Holloway delivers this time. It's popped up over the first base dugout of the Hurricanes. No balls, 2 strikes to Roberto Rivera. Quite the season that Rivera's put together his senior year. 386 average for Roberto. Transferred to UNC Pembroke from St. Augustine, who the Braves played earlier this year. 0-2 pitch to Rivera. Trying to check his swing, and home plate umpire Brett Dickerson says he went around. So the strikeout swinging for Rivera. 1 gone for the Braves. Still their man on, Jarrett Mobley, who had the leadoff walk here in the end.
Catcher Trevor Clemens.
Rivera, he's been 4 straight games with a hit. 7 of his last 8 games. So Trevor Clemens will bat next. Couldn't get his 2nd hit of the game as it was strikeout number 3 for Mitch Holloway. 1 gone for UNCP. Gonna check on first and diving back in, Jarrett Mobley. Clemens struck out his last at-bat for what was the 2nd of the day for Mitch Holloway. All of his batters swinging. And a ground ball right side. To his left, trying to grab it is Jason Beta, and he gets the throw there just ahead of Clemens. Out number 2. It does move Mobley to 2nd. Braves now with a man in scoring position. Ethan Bockham, the right fielder, up next.
Ethan Bockham.
Almost 2/3 of the way through game 1 of our doubleheader today. Game 2 will be about 30 minutes after this first one wraps up. Game 3 of the series scheduled for a 1 o'clock first pitch tomorrow. 2 outs, Mobley in scoring position. Bockham waiting on the delivery from Mitch Holloway. He's trying to get through 6 innings of 7-run baseball. Bockham fouling off the first offering. Bockham singles in the 1st and 3rd innings. RBI single in the 1st. Scored a run in the 3rd, grounded out to 3rd base in the 5th. Has Mobley in scoring position in this spot in the 6th. Holloway deals his 0-1. It bounces, hops away to the right of the catcher Long. Mobley a good read on the ball in the dirt and able to move up to 3rd. So ball and a strike to Ethan Bockham. Go down as a wild pitch to advance Mobley. On the count, that is the 4th wild pitch of the day for Mitch Holloway. Mobley now 90 feet away. Bockham trying to drive him in for what could be his 49th of the year. And it's too low for ball 2. We're mentioning earlier the charts for runs driven in the Peach Belt Conference, and Bockham was sitting 8th in the PBC. Had one already earlier. And he chops the 2-1 foul off the top of the Braves dugout third base side. 2-2 the count to Ethan Bockham. Eight hits either side, a 7-3 UNCP lead. Potential 8th run waiting at third base. Holloway's 2-2. Fouled off the hands. Bockham battling here in this at-bat to earn his 6th pitch. Last time the Braves scored 3 off of Holloway on a home run before last inning back in the 3rd. They went scoreless in the 4th. Holloway trying to rebound the same way here in the 6th. It is 2-2 offering. Cuts alone inside for ball 3. Bockham thought for the slightest of moments of taking a swing at it. Get a chance on the payoff now. Bockham hammering it to left field, and his 2nd RBI single of the afternoon. Making 49 now driven in this year by Ethan Bockham. Scores Jared Mobley on the play for an 8-3 UNCP lead. With 2-out hitting there for the Braves. Their other 2-out hit was the 3-run homer for Connor Granger last inning. So Trey Jacobs with a pair gone and now a 5-run UNC Pembroke lead. But not before we will see Georgia Southwestern head to the bullpen. They're going to go grab a left-hander. We'll tell you about the new arm when we come back. It's 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, and the Braves lead by 5.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping it.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
2 outs here, bottom of the 6th. Ethan Bockham, an RBI single to chase Mitch Holloway from the contest. Andrew Patrick, left-hander, is the new pitcher for Georgia Southwestern. Patrick out of Cartersville, Georgia, a senior southpaw. He checks on first, and Ethan Bockham diving back into the bag. Mitch Holloway's line is not done yet. Still responsible for Bockham there at first base. Bockham takes off with the second offering, bobbled by the catcher long on the transfer, and it'll be a stolen base for Ethan Bockham. Was a strike called to Trey Jacobs. Man in scoring position with 2 outs for the Braves. Jacobs a hit his last at bat in the 5th. Reached on an error in the 3rd. Has scored twice today. He's made a couple nice defensive plays coming back from an error in his first inning of work. 0-1 from Patrick. Bounces outside on past the catcher long, and a wild pitch will move Baucom to 3rd. Ball and a strike to Trey Jacobs. All the way waiting for that line to go final. 5 2/3 for now at 9 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Could still be tapped for another with Baucom at 3rd base. And the 1-1 pitch to Jacobs. Swung on and missed. A change of speeds there for Andrew Patrick. Braves haven't been K'd twice in an inning yet today. Chance for that here in the 6th. Rivera was down swinging to start the frame with the first out for Georgia Southwestern. And a pop-up by Jacobs, right side. Catcher shedding the mask, looking for it long, and he won't be able to make the catch in foul ground as he goes over the top of his pitcher, Patrick. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Trey Jacobs, and Patrick and Long will untangle on that first base side. So still Baucom hanging on at 3rd base. Looked to be an opportunity there for the Hurricanes to get out of the 6th inning. Well, hoping they can still get Jacobs. Waits on the 1-2 delivery from Andrew Patrick. Fastball just a little too low. Patrick's numbers this year for the Hurricanes: 4.20 ERA, 10th appearance for me out of the pen, 15 innings coming in. And the 2-2 off the hands, left side. This is going to be tough to get Jacobs, and they will not. No throw on an infield RBI single for Trey Jacobs, his 2nd hit of the game. Bring home a 9th run for the Braves.
Next for the Braves, left
Ethan
fielder
Baucom
Luke
scores
Jackson.
on the play. Make it a 2-run inning here for UNCP. Along with it here in this inning, they've given a nice breather for Anthony Burke, their starter, who's at 78 pitches through 6. Luke Jackson will bat next for the Braves. If Burke keeps it at about 15 pitches an inning down the stretch, you'd think he'd have enough left in the tank to try to get a 4th complete game. This outer edge strike called. The offering to Luke Jackson. Already a home run for Jackson today, opposite field to right. Patrick, more of an off-speed, left-handed pitcher. Have to be very precise. He goes high and outside to Jackson. You leave one over the plate to Luke Jackson, chances are he will not miss. So he is right there chasing the top of the PBC batting average ranks. Only hitter that's been out hitting Luke Jackson is Nate Schmall from Georgia College this year at .438. So it's now 2-1 to Luke. Georgia College, of course, that top offensive team in the PBC. They have 4 of the top 8, make it 5 of the top 8 hitters by average in the conference. The Braves have 3. So it's just Georgia College and UNCP atop those 8. Jackson fouling off to make it 2-2. The Braves' 3 are Luke Jackson, Trey Jacobs, and Roberto Rivera. The 5 for Georgia College is Schmall, along with Green, Maddox, Womack, and Miller. And almost all of those guys above 400, 3 of those hitters at .399 averages for Georgia College. A check on first And back over standing up is Trey Jacobs. They were the favorites in the PBC, and they are the regular season PBC champions, Georgia College. 35-9 on the year, 25-3 inside the conference. The 2-2 to Jackson. Swung on and missed. It tailed low and in, and a strikeout for Andrew Patrick out of the bullpen. Limits it to just 2 runs for the Braves in the inning. They both come off the starter Mitch Holloway, and we head into the 7th. Braves by 6 on the UNCP Sports Network.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Into the 7th inning, back third of this ball game. UNC Pembroke leading by 6, 9-3. Glad to have you with us here on the UNCP Sports Network. As Anthony Burke's at 78 pitches through 6. Again, we guessed about 15 pitches an inning for Burke would give him enough room to get to the end of this one. That would have him at 123 by the time we're all said and done today. See how it goes into these
Leading off the 7th inning for Georgia
7th, 8th, and
Southwestern,
9th
top of the order,
innings.
second
Be the
baseman,
top of the order
Jason
against him.
Beta.
Jason Beta, Josh Logan, Jared Jones. 4th time through this order for Anthony Burke. Beta double back in the first, is 1 for 3 today. And he swings at the first, hits it in the air to left field. Luke Jackson over with it, having to keep moving off to his right towards the foul line, and makes the catch for out number 1. One pitch and an out in the 7th. A good start here economically for Anthony Burke in the visitors' half of the 7th. The final line now for Mitch Holloway, 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Burke battling Josh Logan now, and a weak grounder left of the hill for Burke. Right as we see it, as he'll flip to Granger for an easy out number 2. That's 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the 7th.
Next up for the Hurricanes, first baseman Jared Jones.
I think Jared Jones will be taking all the ways. He's 1 for 2 today with a walk. His last at bat in the 5th, a single coming back in the 1st. Last thing the Hurricanes want to do is allow a 3-pitch inning here to Anthony Burke. His first offering to Jones is too low for ball 1. 5-pitch inning, the low back in the 4th for Anthony Burke. He's trying for consecutive 1, 2, 3 frames. And just low, says home plate umpire Brett Dickerson. 2 balls, no strikes. Burke is now retired 7 consecutive Hurricanes, dating back to the 5th inning. And his 2-0 pitch in there for a strike. Pretty much a perfect afternoon for baseball in Pembroke. Not too hot, not too cold. A light breeze, but not enough to bother you. It's a chopper up the middle towards center of the diamond. Hardings from way behind second, throwing across the body. And Granger had to get up the line to cover it. It'll be a base hit on the infield for Jared Jones. Nearly a fantastic play by Seth Hardings, but with all that momentum carrying him in to left center field, hard to get that throw back across the body on target to Connor Granger. So with 2 outs, a man aboard in Jared Jones. A 6-run lead for the Braves zone. Anthony Burke, still a chance for a quick inning. He's only at 6 pitches right now in the 7th, and Andy Moore, the designated hitter, next at the left side as he takes strike 1. Sun continues to weave in and out of the clouds up overhead this afternoon. That last infield single broke up his string of 7 straight set down by Burke. He had a chance to start a new one and still does, as it was bobbled by Mobley for his second, recovered, flipped to Hardings in time for out number 3. Just a hit there for the Hurricanes. We'll stretch in Pembroke. We'll be back with the Braves up 6.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Bottom of the 7th inning, a 9-3 lead for UNC Pembroke over Georgia Southwestern. Left-hander Andrew Patrick back onto the mound as he got the final out of the Braves' 6th. Anthony Burke now through 7 innings at 86 pitches, and he is right back on schedule to try to post a 4th consecutive complete game. This will be Seth Hardings, Connor Granger, Elijah Helton, 6, 7, 8 for the Braves in the bottom half of the 7th. Hardings 1 for 3, Granger 1 for 3, and Helton 1 for 3 today. The best of those ones, a 3-run home run for Connor Granger back in the 5th as he waits on deck. The pitch skipping in to the catcher, Dakota Long. Andrew Patrick got the strikeout to get out of the 6th. Fan Luke Jackson, who had the other home run for the Braves today, a 3-run shot back in the 3rd. Delivery from Patrick, high and outside to Hardings, 2 balls and no strikes. Hardings is single back in the 2nd inning. It led off the frame for the Braves. Looking for their 34th win on the year and their 15th in PBC play. It's outside to Hardings, 3 balls and no strikes. And into today, came in just a win shy of North Georgia at 15-10, the Nighthawks. And it settles at the knees to Hardings for a 3-1 count. The Braves were just back in that race against North Georgia. They've already gotten ahead of Flagler and Young Harris. Flagler 15-13, Young Harris 15-15. Fly ball, right center field, tailing. Hardings puts some power on it into the gap. Again running out of room in right center's Logan, and the Braves have a solo homer to add to now a 3-home run day. Seth Hardings into the right center field gap, his 7th of the year. He takes the Braves to an even 10. Get the pat on the back from Elijah Helton on his way back to the dugout. The rest of the Braves will meet him there.
Up next for the Braves, first baseman Connor Granger.
A 10-3 lead for UNC Pembroke. Connor Granger up next for the Braves. Sits low and outside. Granger, a 3-run home run, his last at-bat in the 5th. Patrick's next delivery. Hit back up the middle by Granger. Now he's got a single to go along with that 3-run homer. A 2-hit game for Connor Granger. And he's on here at the bottom of the 7th for the Braves. Now 7-run leaders. See an arm scrambling down towards the bullpen for Georgia Southwestern. It would appear Matt Hubbard headed down to the bullpen to warm up. Braves still no action in their pen. No surprise there. 86 pitches for Anthony Burke through 7. Your chances are better than not when Burke gets on the hill. You're not going to see your bullpen, especially of late. And Andrew Patrick with a breaking ball over the lower outside edge to Elijah Helton. Braves top to bottom on their order now. All but 2 batters with hits. That's Clemens and Mobley, the only 2 that have not collected a hit so far. Patrick set up for his 0-1 delivery. It's low and outside from Helton. Single for Elijah Helton in the 4th. Made it as far as 3rd on a couple wild pitches. Never came home to score. Braves have had 3 different players score twice today. Baucom, Jacobs, and Jackson have all come around twice apiece. Elijah Helton knocking this back up the middle in between the feet of Andrew Patrick. Up over that mound into center field for a base hit. The Braves with 3 straight hits to open up the bottom of the 7th. And their offense just continues to charge. That is their 13th hit of the day.
The shortstop, Jared Mobley.
Jared Mobley going to try to join that hit parade. It's now 5 Braves with multiple hits. Helton, Granger, Hardings, Jacobs, and Baucom have each registered 2 or more. Baucom the lone batter with 3 for the Braves. Mobley's 0 for 2. Trevor Clemens 0 for 4 is the only batters without hits today. This Brave offense, as good as it's been all year, came in averaging 9.2 runs per game. They've beaten that here in game 1 of the doubleheader. And Mobley fouling off the first. Plenty of late inning support for the Braves for their starter, Anthony Burke. As they fell in that early hole, were behind 3-1 into the bottom half of the 3rd. A 3-run home run for Luke Jackson changed that. They had a 4-3 lead, 3-run homer for Connor Granger, took it to 7-3. 2 last inning for the Braves. And now a solo home run for Hardings here in this frame. And it's 0-2 to Jarrett Mobley. 22 combined hits, 13 combined runs. Anthony Burke, as of right now, through 7, another quality start on his season. Runners to their leads for Mobley in the 0-2 from Patrick. That's outside. A walk for Mobley in the 6th. Grounded out. Trying for a sacrifice bunt in the 4th into a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. Now the 1-2 pitch. Hit to the right side. Mobley will join that hit parade. Braves bringing the runner around from 2nd. That's Granger, and he's home to score on an RBI single for Jarrett Mobley. Over to 3rd as well on the play, Elijah Helton. The RBI for Mobley is 25th of the year. And it's now Trevor Clemens, the lone man left without a hit today. The Braves have that 11-3 lead, and they've gone 4 straight hits here in the bottom of the 7th. So we'll see a slow stroll from Brian McClain out of the first base dugout for the Hurricanes. He had Matt Hubbard head down to the bullpen to work out here in the bottom of the 7th. Doesn't look like he's ready to go to Hubbard quite yet, who continues to throw in that bullpen for GSW. So just has that meeting atop the hill with the infield and Andrew Patrick pulled together. We'll be back to the top of the Braves order with Roberto Rivera to bat next for UNC Pembroke. and now we will see a move for a pitcher. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Braves have runners on the corners. 2 already home in the inning, an 11-3 lead on the UNCP Sports Network.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
Okay. 11-3 lead for UNCP. Braves with 2 runs in the 7th, 2 in the 6th, 3 in the 5th, and they still have a couple aboard 1st and 3rd here in the bottom of the 7th. Top of the order, Roberto Rivera, then Trevor Clemens and Ethan Baca still likely to come up for the Braves. So Rivera had the single in the 1st. That's all for him so far today. It's been a 1-for-4 day for Roberto Rivera. Trevor Clemens, who waits on deck, is the only Brave without a hit now in the game after the RBI single for Jarrett Mobley. New pitcher for Georgia Southwestern is Matt Hubbard, a senior right-hander from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Hubbard with the numbers this year, 9.22 the ERA, 0-2, and this is his 15th appearance all out of the pen. Rivera hitting it deep to right field. Some late life on that as it's off the wall. Now bouncing away from the right fielder, Martin. Rivera's got big-time speed. He's on his way to 3rd. Braves going to clear the bases on this one, and a 2 RBI triple for Roberto Rivera. Creamed it to left, or creamed it to right field off of right fielder Jonathan Martin for the 2 RBI triple.
The catcher, Trevor Clemens.
Allowed him to get all the way around that left side of the infield. If that ball had a stronger kick off that wall and right to get a little further away, all of a sudden you would have been talking about big-time danger for the Hurricanes had it gotten too far away from Martin. Now, Trevor Clemens trying to make it all 9 Braves with hits today. The infield in for Georgia Southwestern and a strike across to Clemens. 5 straight hits for the Braves here in the bottom of the 7th. 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th for the Braves, whose bats woke up in the 3rd inning. They've gone for 2 or more runs now in 4 of the 5 innings since. Those last 2 runs charged to Andrew Patrick. Hard liner down the first base side and in fair for Trevor Clemens. That's into the corner. Clemens has got extra bases. Really getting on his horse. Clemens wants a triple after Rivera's, and he'll have it. Stand-up triple for Trevor Clemens. Back-to-back triples for the Braves. That nets another run for UNC Pembroke. The triple for Clemens, the first of his UNCP career. They get a 14-3 Braves lead as they now jump all over the Hurricanes here in game 1 of the doubleheader today. Game 1 of this 3-game set. Every Brave with a hit in this one. Now back-to-back triples. A check swing by Backham as it's a ball and no strikes. That last run will go against Hubbard now. Patrick's line is final. 5 hits, 4 runs all earned in a 1/3 of an inning, and he struck out 1 batter. Matt Hubbard yet to get an out. He's given up 2 triples since coming in and a run. Another waits at 3rd. It's now 3-0 to Ethan Backham. No active arms in the Georgia Southwestern bullpen down the right field side. This would appear to be Hubbard's spot to get out of it. His 3-0 pitch is hit by Bockham to left field. Could be deep enough here to score Clemens, who will tag up. And he is on his way home on the sac fly. So the RBI there for Ethan Bockham, and the Braves make it a 12-run lead. RBI number 3 of the day for Bockham. Braves with their 6th run of the inning. Trey Jacobs up next is the 8th Brave batter here in the 7th. This was a 3-1 game back in the 3rd, and the Braves have scored the last 14 runs. The setup in the pitch to Trey Jacobs. Lands softly outside for ball 1. We'll get back into that conversation now of highest scoring games for the Braves in PBC play. As a strike across to Jacobs, 1-1. You talk about the early season. The Braves had 16 runs in their loss to Augusta, one of their only 2 home losses in PBC play back on February 16th. They scored 18 against Lander in the next series on February 23rd. As it's 2-1 to Trey Jacobs. Side of that for the Braves, you keep looking down the line in PBC play. This game already shaping up and looking like it is, yes, the now highest scoring output for the Braves in PBC play of what they should get as a win. They still have to get to that 16-run mark from that first series of the year, the loss to Augusta, as it's 3 balls, 2 strikes to Trey Jacobs. Ready in the pitch, and it's fouled off on the third base side. So that count full to Trey Jacobs. 1 out here in the inning. It was a sacrifice fly in the last at-bat for Ethan Bockham as our first out here at the bottom of the 7th. That was on the 7th batter faced in the inning. 3-2 to Jacobs, hit in the air to left field. Cole Clark has eyes on it and makes the catch for out number 2. So now 2 away for the Hurricanes. 6 runs already home. Luke Jackson, the 9th man to the plate for the Braves. Bring all of their batters to the plate here in the bottom half of the 7th. Anthony Burke has had another long wait in that dugout for the Braves, and they do have some stirring down in their bullpen down the left field line. It's Matt Hubbard, the 2-out offering to Luke Jackson, able to bring one across the zone for strike 1. There's no actual throwing going on down there yet. Potentially, looks like maybe Dale Masterson, who's worked his way down there into the pen. Jackson now behind 0-2. The setup for Hubbard and his 0-2 pitch. Fouled off the end of the bat. '86 pitches so far for Anthony Burke through his 7 innings. The club's now giving him the 12-run lead. The 0-2 pitch high and outside from Jackson. Hubbard just trying to take it through 7 for Georgia Southwestern now. And his 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. So a strikeout there to get Jackson. The Braves do bring 9 batters to the plate in the inning. They score 6 runs and do it on the strength of 6 hits. They have no runners left on base. We go to the 8th. Braves have knocked it wide open by 12 on the UNCP Sports Network.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
Into the 8th inning in Pembroke, a 12-run lead for UNCP now. Anthony Burke will work into this 8th inning for UNCP. Through 7 innings, Burke was at a total for the Braves of 86 pitches, 61 strikes. He's well within his range of trying to go the distance. The Braves do start warming up Dale Masterson in their bullpen down the left field line. And we'll see if the Braves go in that direction down the stretch. It's here in the 8th for Georgia Southwestern, Jonathan Martin, Cole Clark, and Dakota Long. Nice play there at second for Hardings. Throws it wide to Granger, though, and trying to save it down by the dugout. Trevor Clemens is moving to second on the play. Will be Jonathan Martin. A great first half of the play, but then the throwing error for Seth Hardings. And Martin is into second base with nobody out. Visitors half of the 8th. Again, this is game 1 of a doubleheader today, scheduled doubleheader with Georgia Southwestern into Pembroke here on the road. Game 3 of the series tomorrow, a 1 o'clock first pitch. 15 runs, 16 hits for UNCP, 3 runs, 9 hits for Georgia Southwestern. That was the second Brave error today. So here's Cole Clark, the left fielder. And he pops it up first base side. Granger, a beat on it towards the Hurricane dugout, but it's going to carry up off the top of that dugout. So a strike to Cole Clark. Jonathan Martin's into scoring position. Got an RBI ground out back in the first, now reached on an error here in the 8th. Burke's retired 7 of the last 9 to face him. Got 8 of the last 10 to face him. And a hard grounder left side, diving Trey Jacobs, not going to be able to get to it. It's into left field for the base hit and corner runners for Georgia Southwestern. Jonathan Martin able to work over to third. Dakota Long, the catcher, up next. So after quick 6th and 7th innings at 7 and 8 pitches each of the last 2 innings for Anthony Burke, now he's into a little bit of hot water here in the visitors' half of the 8th. As first and third, the runners with nobody out. Trevor Clemens will give the signs out for the Braves defense. A 12-run lead for Burke to work with, so he'll look to come right after Dakota Long, who was 1 for 3 today, a single back in the 2nd. And the pitch from Burke to Long lands outside for ball 1. Long flew out to left field in the 6th. A strikeout swinging in the 3rd, singled in the 2nd. Burke readying his 1-0 delivery. Fouled out of play on the third base side. Over at third base, Martin. Clark at first. After the error and the single here in the frame. And the 1-1 outside to Long. This will be one of 2 doubleheaders played by PBC teams today. Lynn and Augusta. That's a non-conference matchup for the Augusta Jaguars. They'll be in a doubleheader as well today. The 2-1 from Burke. Hit high and foul out of play on the third base side to split the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Other scores, North Georgia up 3-2. Visitors half of the ninth on the road there at Lander. USC Aiken on the road up 4-2 at Flagler, top of the fifth after Aiken won game 1 of that series last night. And the 2-2 pitch from Burke to Long, hit towards center field, and now die out in front of Roberto Rivera for an RBI single for Dakota Long. A run for now unearned in Jonathan Martin off Anthony Burke in the first run that he has given up since back in the second inning. It's Cole Clark
Now
up to
batting
second base on the play,
shortstop
first and
number
second,
1,
nobody
Tyler
out.
Skelton.
Trevor Clemens having a quick talk with Anthony Burke out there. He's now trying to clean up for his defense behind him. 8 pitches for Burke, has him at 94 for the day. At stake for Anthony, 3 consecutive complete games for the Braves starter. He looked to have a good shot here into the 8th of this one to make it 4 today, but has hit a roadblock here in this visitors' half of the 8th inning. Tyler Skelton, the shortstop, able to watch a pitch outside for ball 1. Complete game victories at Francis Marion April 6th, at North Georgia April 13th, and at home against Flagler last Friday night. Gave up 7 or fewer hits each of those 3 games. Surrendered 11 today. And has the 1-0 fouled back by Skelton. So at second base, Clark. Long at first. The error allowed Martin into scoring position to start the inning, then back-to-back singles for Clark and Long. 2 balls and a strike to Skelton. The only losses this year for Anthony Burke at Georgia College, March 23rd, over 8 2/3 innings. Only gave up 2 runs, but the Braves could only scratch 1. Then back at Columbus State, March 9th. Gave up 6 earned runs over 6 innings in that one. And the 2-1s right there for strike 2. Burke, a wily competitor on the mound for the Braves, though, and not a guy who likes to come out. Even at 98 pitches, you know he will be pleading his own case to try to stay in as long as he can this afternoon. The 99th hit high in the air to center field. Rivera's back a couple steps for it. We're going to see a runner tagging from second here in Clark, but Rivera gets a quick throw, snap back in. And the fly out for out number 1. The runners can't go anywhere. Take it to the 9-hitter in the order, Bradley Huff. Next pitch for Anthony Burke will be number 100 on the day. And going over the century mark, not the problem for Burke. Likely that he would have maybe 20 to 25 pitches left in him on a good day after 100. He's got Bradley Huff, who's 0 for 3 so far. And Burke gets the chopper left side. Jacobs going to charge and throw on the run. That'll beat Huff to first. Another nice charging play by Trey Jacobs off that left side of the infield. Clark to third, Long to second. So now 2 in scoring position and 2 out. We'll go back to the top of that order. And Burke will go over 100 pitches here in the 8th.
Leadoff hitter, second baseman number 13, Jason Beta.
101st on his next offering. Jason Beta, the second baseman for GSW. Started his day with a double, hasn't come up with a hit since. As Burke's offering to Beta. Hit down the left field line, has a chance for extra bases for a second time today, and it does check in fair into the corner. Beta will be marched into second base with his second double of the day, and it drives in both runs for Georgia Southwestern. Cole Clark and Dakota Long home to score on the play. 2 RBI double for Beta down that left field line. And 3 runs here in the inning for the Hurricanes to make it 15-6. It's also 101 pitches for Anthony Burke.
Center fielder number 15, Josh
Paul O'Neill
Logan.
not budging at the front of that third base dugout for the Braves. And Berg's pitch to Josh Logan, the right fielder, chopped left side. Mobley's going to play it on the run, needs a strong throw, and gets it there to beat Logan to the bag. It's a 3-run inning for Georgia Southwestern. They get it on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. Bottom of the 8th next, Braves by 9.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better by far.
In the bottom half of the 8th inning, it is a 15-6 lead for UNC Pembroke over Georgia Southwestern. 102 pitches for Anthony Burke through his 8. It'll be Seth Hardings, Connor Granger, Elijah Helt, 6, 7, 8 due up for the Braves in the home half of the 8th. So the right-hander Matt Hubbard to continue in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Big lead for the Braves. Leadoff man will be Seth Hardings here in the bottom half of the 8th. Sondale Masterson up working in the bullpen in the top of the 8th in case Anthony Burke needs him, but I would venture a guess that Burke will ask to go back out for the 9th to try to finish what he started for a 4th straight game as it's fouled back by Seth Hardings. If Paul O'Neill lets Burke do so, he'll save his bullpen through game 1 of this series. Matt Hubbard is the 3rd pitcher for Georgia Southwestern today. And Hardings hits it towards the left side at short, scooping up his Skelton and his throw to first. They're ahead of Hardings for out number 1. Connor Granger, Elijah Helt next. Every Brave with at least a hit today. 6 to 9 with multiple hits. 1 3-hit game for Ethan Bockham. The 5 with 2, Helton, Granger, Hardings, and Rivera, along with Jacobs. 1 out and Connor Granger to the plate. 2-hit day for him. 3-run homer in the 5th, a single in the 7th. That followed a solo homer for Seth Hardings. First pitch, a shy hop out in front of the catcher long. Game 2 today, this doubleheader again will be about 30 minutes after the conclusion of game 1. Masterson continues to warm up a bit. The Braves bullpen down the left field line. 1-0 to Granger. High and outside for ball 2. It's a calm warm-up for Masterson down the line, but now steady with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. It leaves you to wonder if they'll turn to him anyways in the 9th. Granger hitting it hard to right center, trying to put a bid in for a second of the day, and he gets it over the head of the center fielder Logan off the base of the fence. Granger's around second, digging for a 3rd Braves triple on the day, and he'll do so standing up. 3rd hit for Connor Granger, and he's now only a double short of the cycle. Unfortunately, he's probably run out of at-bats here in game 1 of this doubleheader. He has a homer, a triple, and a single. And with 1 out, Elijah Helt will bat with a run 90 feet away. Nearly Granger hitting it to the same spot as his 3-run homer in the 5th. It didn't have quite as much life. Infield in for Georgia Southwestern. And the pitch from Hubbard to Helton inside and in and out of the glove of Dakota Long. Jared Mobley in the on-deck circle. Connor Granger joins Ethan Bockham with a 3-hit day. 17 Brave hits, 15 runs, still one shy of tying their high in Peach Belt Conference play. And Helton hits it in the air down the right field line towards the foul pole. Might have room to be in fair as it crosses that line. A diving try for Martin, but couldn't quite make the catch. Went all out in his extension for it. It's 1-1 to Elijah Helton. Singles for Helton in the 7th and the 4th innings. In the 16 runs for the Braves in a loss in their first home PBC game of the year against Augusta earlier this season. That's their highest in PBC play with the infield in, and the 1-1 crossing the zone. Helton shaking his head, didn't think so. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 for 4 Elijah Helton today with a pair of singles. Has scored a run as well. It's the 1-2 high chopper, left side. Waiting on it, the third baseman for a strong throw from Huff. The ground out will drive in. The runner Granger from third. Out number 2 for the Braves. They tie up their season high in scoring in PBC play with their 16th run.
The shortstop, Jared Mobley.
And Jared Mobley, the shortstop, up next. A 10-run Brave lead. Dale Masterson warming in the bullpen. But 8 innings from Anthony Burke so far at 102 pitches. And Mobley taking the first on the outer edge for strike 1. Mobley's RBI single last inning, part of a 9-batter frame for the Braves. Made him the 8th of 9 to join the hit parade for UNCP. Hits on the ground third base side. Jeff Jefferson trying to get to it out of that coaching box as it's 0-2. Jefferson trying to corral that. Learned earlier this week, quite the Monopoly player. He and another assistant athletic communications director, associate director there, Alex Cooper, they were locked up in a good Monopoly battle earlier this week. As they throw out a short by Tyler Skelton, they'll get Jarrett Mobley at the bag over at first, and that is out number 3 for the Braves in the bottom half of the 8th. A triple for Connor Granger in the inning. A run scores for the Braves on RBI groundout for Elijah Helton. They lead by 10 into the 9th here on the UNCP Sports Network.
Adidas is the official apparel sponsor for all 16 of UNC Pembroke varsity athletic teams. Adidas provides some of the most innovative products in the shoe and apparel industry and is one of the most recognizable brands worldwide. We thank Adidas for all its support in offering UNC Pembroke the best for its student athletes. Go Braves!
Lumbee River Electric Membership Corporation belongs to the members it serves. That means their members have a say in how their co-op is run. And with members in charge, you can feel confident that the decisions made are in your best interest and the best interest of your community. Doesn't that sound good? Members know they can trust LREMC because it was created not to make profits, but to deliver on this promise, providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. 4 values are the foundation of LREMC's service to its members: innovation, commitment to community, accountability, and integrity. These values represent the cooperative difference and how their co-op earns the trust of members every day.
It will be a new arm for the Braves, and Anthony Burke will have a 3 consecutive complete game streak snapped this afternoon in Pembroke. You see the new arm for UNCP, Dale Masterson, in to pitch this 9th inning. His numbers for the season on screen for you there. Anthony Burke's line tallies at 8 innings, 12 hits, 6 runs, only 1 earned, a walk, and 2 strikeouts for Burke, who is in line for his 8th victory of the season. So Dale Masterson will look to wrap it up for the Braves here in Game 1 of the doubleheader. A 10-run lead for Masterson taking over on the bump, and a couple of those standouts on the numbers for Masterson. This is just his 9th appearance of the year. It's 10 innings so far and 10 earned runs. 7 strikeouts for Masterson on this season as well. So he will face the heart of the order, 3, 4, 5. Jones, Moore, and Martin for the Hurricanes in the top of the 9th.
Jared Jones.
We'll see how it goes here for Masterson. A 2-for-3 day for Jared Jones, and he'll lead off this group of 3. 1 for 4 on deck for Andy Moore. Jonathan Martin, who waits in the hole, is 0 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Low and outside from Jones, a ball and no strikes. So Burke with the 8 innings. That does snap, as we said, the 3 consecutive complete games for Anthony Burke. And foul tipped, held on to by the catcher Trevor Clemens, 1-1. Again, this is a doubleheader today in Pembroke. Game 2 will follow shortly after here, game 1. It's too low, 2-1 to Jared Jones. Be about a 30-minute break in between the two. If you're staying with us here on the UNCP Sports Network, again, you just go to that main UNCP Athletics YouTube page, and there will be a second game link open for you there to see the back end of this doubleheader. It's Masterson ready for his 2-1 pitch. And it's locked in just a little too high. Be careful with the middle part of this order for Georgia Southwestern. Steady production part of this order on the season. The base of the order has done a great job today as it's a ground ball through the left side for Jared Jones to open the 9th with a single for Georgia Southwestern. 2 hits each for the 6, 7, 8 hitters, Clark, Long, and Skelton today. That was the 3rd hit for Jones, and Andy Moore would have been next, but we'll see a pinch hitter for Georgia Southwestern.
Pinch hitter, number 3, Tyler Summerall.
It'll be Tyler Summerall, freshman from Soperton, Georgia, to pinch hit here for Andy Moore. Moore was in that designated hitting spot, so likely not a defensive change here, but pinch hitter at least in the 9th. Moore had been 0 for 4, or excuse me, 1 for 4 to this point. That's a ball and a strike to Tyler Summerall. Summerall batting 1,000 this season. Small sample size, as you would have guessed. Summerall, just 1 at-bat, 1 hit, but now make it 2 at-bats and 2 hits. Back-to-back knocks here in the 9th for Georgia Southwestern, and Summerall still batting 1,000 this year for the Hurricanes.
Jonathan Martin.
That's how you get it done. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, 1st and 2nd, and nobody out in the 9th for Georgia Southwestern. $14 hits for the Hurricanes. Jonathan Martin, the right fielder, standing in, who is 0 for 4. And he takes 2 low for ball 1. We've seen Anthony Burke go past the 102 pitch mark plenty of times this year, but he had a pretty labor-intensive start to his day and then some long breaks towards the end. I'm sure forcing the hand to have him out of there. Hard grounder at first. Granger picks it up, goes to Mobley for 1. Back to the pitcher, Masterson covering, and not quite in time for the double play. Fielder's choice to allow Martin aboard. It goes 3-6 for the putout, out number 1, and Jones over to 3rd. So corner runners and 1 out for Georgia Southwestern.
Left fielder, Cole Clark.
Nearly a 3-6-1 double play. Braves almost pulled it off. Cole Clark will be next, 2 for 4, 2 singles, a run score. That run came back in a 3-run 8th for Georgia Southwestern. 2 RBI double for Jason Beta and an RBI ground out in there as well in that inning. It's a pitch high and tight to Cole Clark, a ball, no strikes. We'll see who the Braves trot out game 2 of this doubleheader. I would guess after last weekend, the likely candidate, the pitcher who's been coming around really nicely, Jordan Toney. Pitch fouled straight back by Clark, 1-1. Braves went game 3 of that Flagler series by committee. A few innings from Hank Simpson at the start, and then bullpen the rest of the way through to sweep Flagler College a weekend ago in PBC play. The 1-1 from Masterson. Low and inside and blocked by Clemens. Mentioned this part of the order has had great success today. Clark, Long, and Skelton. Long who waits on deck and Skelton in the hole, each 2 for 4. Masterson would love a well-placed double play ball to end it, but he skips it in too low once again. 3-1 to Cole Clark. Clark a pitch away from loading the bases for the Hurricanes here in the top of the 9th. Braves have that sizable advantage. And the 3-1 pitch, too high for ball 4. So a walk, a couple singles. You've got the bases loaded for Georgia Southwestern in the top of the 9th with just
The
one
catcher,
out.
Dakota Long.
Does set up a spot where there's a force at any base. Dakota Long, the catcher, will bat next. Long part of this group that's each 2 for 4 today. Masterson's pitch, swung on and missed. Started him off that lower outside edge, changed speeds on him for strike 1. The singles for Jones and Summerall here in the inning, the walk of Clark to load the bases. The 0-1 pitch, too low to split the count of the ball and a strike. So you've got Jones at third, Martin at second, and Clark at first. Martin replaced the runner Summerall on a fielder's choice. 1-1 from Masterson, swung on, foul tipped, and Clemens hangs on. Ball and 2 strikes. Braves scramble some movement into their bullpen. Blake Helms warming up for UNC Pembroke, in case they need him here in the 9th. 1-2 from Masterson. On the ground, right side, charging Granger. He's going to take it to first himself. The run from third, Jared Jones will score. RBI ground out for Dakota Long. His first RBI of the day, now a 9-run lead for the Braves.
The shortstop, Tyler Skelton.
They have tied their high for PBC scoring today. That also moved Martin to third and Clark to second. But the all-important second out. Now Dale Masterson will try to get his third and cap this Game 1 victory for the Braves. A 2 for 4 day for Skelton so far, and he grounds and foul on the third base side. The win would go to Anthony Burke to move him to 8-2 this year. The loss would go to Mitch Holloway, which would take him to 2-10. Braves looking for their 34th win of the year, be their 15th in PBC play. And the 0-1 from Masterson. A breaking ball there for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Masterson ahead 0-2. Couple gone here in the top of the 9th, trying to strand 2 in scoring position. Gets it off the hands towards short. Mobley's going to scoop and fire, and the Braves win Game 1 of the doubleheader. Georgia Southwestern scratching a run in the final frame. The UNCP, the 9-run win, takes the Braves on the year to 34-12, 15-12 in PBC play. Georgia Southwestern falling to 10-33, 5-23 in conference action. 8-2 now on the year for Anthony Burke. Picks up another win in these string of victories for the senior right-hander, and 2-10 on the year for Mitch Holloway in a ball game played just under 3 hours by about 6 minutes here at Sammy Cox Field. First game of the doubleheader is behind us. We'll break for 30 minutes. We'll see you back on the other side. New stream link on the UNCP Sports Network as we get set for Game 2 between the Braves and the Hurricanes. Stick with us here on the UNCP Sports Network.
Ever wondered why our sponsor, Lumberton Chevrolet Buick Cadillac GMC, has such a long name? One reason is the tremendous variety of cars and trucks they offer to meet every need. Great-looking Chevrolets, Buicks, Cadillacs, and even GMC SUVs and trucks. They have everything from budget vehicles to the top-of-the-line Cadillacs. So why would you shop anywhere else? Try their quick lube, and while your vehicle is being serviced, you can see for yourself. They are located next to Lumberton High School.
When UNC Pembroke athletes train and compete, Scotland Healthcare System will be a part of the team as the official healthcare provider for UNCP athletics. Led by Ortho Carolina Scotland orthopedic physician Dr. Richard Alexander, their specialist will cover every football and men's basketball game. From practice drills to kickoff and tip-off, Scotland's medical experts will oversee training staff operations. It's one more way Scotland Healthcare is keeping its commitment to be there for the region, delivering closer care that's better.